Welcome back. Hope you all are doing good. This is the series of Splunk upgrade, and in previous video, I have explained about the discovery of your environment. So if you have not gone through that video and you directly jumped into this video, so I request you to go and watch that video first, and then you can come back. So it will be easy to understand. So in this video, I am going to explain about the readiness, upgrade readiness. So it will consist of like in upgrade readiness, I am going mainly focused in this particular video. I am focused on backup strategy. How can we take a backup of Splunk? So it has two parts. One is uh, Splunk apps backup and core Splunk backup. So you can the people who know uh, Splunk very well, they can say why we need a Splunk app backup, especially when we are already taking core Splunk backup. So the thing is, sometimes we are not doing both the upgrade, like Splunk app upgrade and Splunk core Splunk upgrade together. So due to the compatibility issues, first we do app upgrade and then go to Splunk core upgrade. So to take backup of Splunk app, just what you need to do, you need to take a backup of a specific directory of your app. So where you can find that directory in home Splunk home path, etc apps and your app name. So it will be like, suppose in general uh, the Splunk is installed in opt directory. So opt Splunk etc apps folder and then your app name. Suppose you are taking backup of enterprise security, so you need to put you need to go to this specific directory and get the name of your specific name of your app and backup, copy it somewhere and keep it for in case you have any issues, so you can restore from that backup. And also, if you have any customization, any other dependencies are there, you need to go through release note of that particular app and a readme section, so you will get to know that what all changes are there and what can be done for to upgrade those things. So this is specifically for app backup. So just keep in mind, before upgrading any app, just take a backup of that particular directory, app directory. Now let's come to the main thing, core Splunk upgrade. So in core Splunk upgrade, we do configuration backup. That is the main thing. The data backup, it is optional. It's depend on the customer. If index data, because the size of index data is huge, so already you are uh, consuming disk space while indexing the data. Now you again need to replace, take a backup and consume. So it will be in the the storage of index data. It comes in terabyte, 100 of terabytes. So that is optional, depend on the customer, like if you need to take that. So main, you need to focus on the configuration backup. So how you can take the backup of configurations. So I will share the link of this Splunk page, so you can have a look on this. So backup of your configuration, all Splunk configuration information is contained uh, in configuration files that ends with .conf file. To back up the set of configuration file, make an archive of copy of home and etc. So this is like in for different customer, the home directory is different. So uh, you need to like take a specific, like sometimes it can be like if Splunk is on SBox, so especially the mm, older version of SBox doesn't use opt Splunk. It use some like say slash SBox Splunk and etc and dot. So you need to keep in mind that you need to take backup of Splunk home directory where the Splunk is installed. Also, this directory along with its subdirectory contain all the default and custom settings for your Splunk install and apps. So apps, when you do core Splunk backup is as already explained, app folder will already comes under it because it has etc and slash app and few other files, and it will have etc system local and so on. Also, it includes save searches, user account tag, custom source types name, and other configuration information. So you just copy this, and if whenever you want, you can restore it. Okay. So backup of the uh, cluster manager node. If you have if you are doing upgrade for indexers, so you can do a backup of cluster manager, or like personally I do one or two indexers backup also. So one, like suppose if you have a 10 index cluster environment, so take backup of manager etc directory, as well as take backup of uh, indexers as well, one or two indexer. That is not required, but safer side, just take it. Okay. And standalone or non-cluster environment, definitely you need to take backup of indexers. So this is about configuration backup. Now let's jump to index data backup. Okay. So in the index data backup, as I already mentioned, that it is optional. It depends on customer whether you want backup of a specific directory like data or no. So just like similar to configuration backup, again you need to take the backup of index directory. So before that, to decide how to backup index, it helps to understand first how index store the data and how the data ages it has been indexed. Then you can decide on the backup strategy. So you need to know how the indexing works. So before going to know going to further, you just need to know how the index stores. So to get familiar with the structure of index, and then option for conversion them. But if you want to jump right into that, then you can you can understand without going through it, how the index and indexers stores the indexes. So that is not just for now. Just you consider that all the data will get stored in the directories, okay, in the flat files. So those things you need to back up. So how data edges. So these are a few things where you can see how the data edges. When the indexer first index the data, it goes to hot bucket. Depend on your configuration. Like if you whatever the hot bucket specs, time span in seconds, or the size, it depend on the depend on that parameter how long the data will be there in the hot bucket. Depending on your configuration, there can be several hot buckets open at a time. Hot buckets can be backed up because the indexer is actively writing. Cannot be backed up. Yeah, the hot bucket cannot be backed up because indexer is busy in writing the data on that. So if you are if you want to do a backup of hot bucket, first you need to convert that hot bucket to warm bucket, roll it to warm bucket, then take it, stop Splunk first, and then move it. Otherwise, you just take a snapshot of them without if you don't want to uh, if you don't want to stop Splunk, so just you take a snapshot of them. Now the second point is the data remain in the hot bucket until the policy conditions are met for it to be reclassified as warm data. So if you are watching this video, then you must know about the storage, how the data is stored. So first is stored in hot bucket, then one as mentioned, once the policy conditions are met, it goes to warm bucket. This is called rolling. So if you can do it in manually, or once the policy condition reaches met, then it goes to warm bucket. This happens when a hot bucket reaches as a specific size or age. So you can define a condition on size or age, or whenever Splunk D get restarted, so it will convert into the hot bucket will convert into the roll it to the warm bucket. When a hot bucket is rolled, its directory is renamed and then become a warm bucket. So after that, once it is rolled to warm bucket, you can safely back up that data. And third point is when the indexer reaches on the several possible configuration limit, usually a specific number of warm bucket, the oldest bucket become a cold bucket. The indexer move bucket to cold DB directory. The default number of warm bucket is 300. So and the default number of a hot bucket is 3, and default number of warm bucket is 300. So finally, at a time base on your defined policy requirement, the bucket rolls from cold to frozen. So cold to frozen, that means the index, the data will delete after a certain time, or if you have defined the direct, if you specify that frozen directory, so it will get stored or archive over there. So I guess you already know about it. So let's summarize this. Hot bucket currently being written, do not back up this. Warm bucket rolled from hot bucket can be safely back up. Cold bucket rolled from warm bucket are moved to another directory. Frozen bucket, the indexer delete these, but you can archive. So all the configurations will be there in index.conf. So this index.conf is already covered in home HC configuration system local, or if you have created any specific app, so index.conf will be is already there. So in configuration you already taken backup of this. So the location of this database for hot bucket, this is the location, and also hot bucket start with hot, and as it's moved to warm bucket, it changes the directory name, and from hot it will some other directory name will be there, but the database directory will be same. When it goes to cold bucket, the database directory will be changed, and the name of the bucket will be same from warm to cold. Now frozen, it will get deleted, or if you have mentioned any path, it will go and store the data over there for archive. Now thought bucket, if you want to restore, first you need to put the data in thought bucket and resync your Splunk environment. So now choose, this overall is about taking backup, and we are mainly focused on the upgrade. So there is two types of backup. One is increment, where you incrementally like continuously backing up your data, but we are not going to discuss much in detail because uh, this is part of backup strategy. Now we'll focus on the backup of data. Uh, so when you are going to uh, upgrade your index, you take backup of whole directory. So backup all data. It is recommended that you backup all your data before upgrading the index. This means hot, warm, cold buckets. Therefore, there are obviously a number of ways to do this, depend on the size of your data and how much downtime you can afford. So it's totally depend on your customer, whether they want to take or how much, because backing up of data, it can again it will take time. So if you have a smaller amount of data, shut down the indexer and just make a copy of your database directory before performing the upgrade. For large environment, you will probably instead want to take a snapshot prior to upgrade. So as I earlier mentioned that you cannot back up hot bucket directly, you need to roll it out to warm bucket first. So this is the command where you can roll out a warm bucket, hot bucket to warm bucket. Okay, so just keep in mind, it is not advised to roll hot bucket manually, as each force roll permanently decrease the search performance over the time. As a large rule, as a general rule, a larger bucket are more efficient to search. So the larger bucket uh, are more efficient while searching. But if you do a manual rollout, it will create a smaller buckets and it will increase less insufficient smaller bucket, as mentioned here, and it will decrease search performance. So if you have cluster environment, then personally, whenever I have done index cluster environment upgrade, I did not take backup of it, because we anyways we are doing uh, upgrade of one instance at a time, one node at a time. So uh, the backup, the data will be already there on the other instances, so you can easily upgrade. You can take off, like say you can do a rolling upgrade. Once it is come up, it will replicate the data on that and you can move to next one. So if you want, you can take backup of indexer. So I guess that's all about it. Also, one more thing, whenever you are doing backup, check if any custom scripts are there for all for any other directories or any other configuration, so your customer can tell of your, or you are working on that environment. Just check it's safe to take a backup of customization. uh, yeah, I guess that's it about upgrade readiness of this part. Upgrade readiness, this pack where I have explained about the backup. So to summarize, you can take backup of two things. One is application backup and core configuration backup, and it's in the configuration core Splunk backup. Just take a configuration backup. Index data is always depend on the customer, whether they want to take backup of data or no. In cluster environment, if you do not take backup of those environment, it's it's okay if you don't take backup. uh, After that, if you have any customization, take a backup of customize any script or anything you have customized. Take backup of those things. Also keep in one thing, keep in mind, you need to know the home path of Splunk. As already mentioned, if you the older version of SBox has SBox Splunk as a home path. So yeah, it's not opt Splunk. So those are the things you need to keep in mind. uh, yeah, so thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.